what's up you guys? My name is Megan. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is the second video I made on this channel. So today I just wanted to talk about like my mental illnesses. I don't like to use that word just because it makes me feel like there's something wrong with me when there's not, like it's just who I am. So I'm just gonna start off. I was diagnosed in February of this year with chronic depression, severe anxiety, and acute schizophrenia. It's pretty heavy load. I like to laugh about it because I think it makes me feel better. But I just kind of wanted to talk about like maybe where it stems from, and maybe I can help one of you guys out, like watching or whatever. So in September of last year, 2016, my best friend passed away. She had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which started at the beginning of our senior year. And, you know, she's fine for a while, and then it just got really bad, and then it just got too bad. I was stationed in Japan at the time. Like I said in my last video, if you haven't seen that, I am a US Navy veteran. And I was stationed in Japan, and I wasn't able to come home for her funeral because we were going underway, and circumstances were just not right for me, and that really put me in a dark place. About a month after that, we had a boy on my ship. I shouldn't say boy because he was an adult, but we had a guy on my ship who ended up killing himself. I don't really know why. I don't know the circumstances of that. I talked to him every once in a while, but we weren't like besties or anything. But it was a really sad thing. It really just like, I don't know, it hit home with me because I'd always been thinking, pretty much since my friend Ashley, my best friend Ashley, here's a picture of her, she's beautiful by the way, I love her so much. Since she passed away, I had been thinking like, there's really no point in being alive. And it got really bad. I kind of just tried to suppress it, which is what you shouldn't do in that situation. But I tried to suppress it, and I tried to think about it as like, I don't know, it wasn't that way. I tried to think about it like, oh, I'm just sad for right now. But it just followed me, and then the holidays came up and we pulled back into port. We were underway from like September until like Christmas Eve. And I was going home on leave for, I think it was like January 1st through like the 14th or something like that. And I was still like really down. You know, I had talked to the medical people on my ship and stuff, and they were like trying to get me into mental health when we got back into port, but it just like never worked out. They were busy, or you know, other things came up or whatever. So I just kind of tried to help myself feel better. I started drinking really heavily all the time with like my friends and stuff, just to like make that go away. And so I went home on leave, and I felt not great, but I knew I had to kind of like fake it when I was around my family. I went to see my best friend's grave for the first time, and I had an emotional breakdown. And when I got back, it kind of just spiraled into a full-on anxiety and depression kind of thing. But it wasn't until February 27th that I was diagnosed. I don't really want to talk about it too much, about that day in particular, just because it is a big trigger for me, and sometimes I start talking about it and I can't, and I start to panic or I start to freak out, and I don't really want to talk about it that much. But I had told my chief that I wanted to kill myself, that I had tried to kill myself, and that I needed help, and she took me to the emergency room, and I was off the ship completely after that. And I ended up getting out of the Navy, which is good because like my health wasn't right to be, you know, serving, and it sucks too because I loved my job and I love the people I work with, and I got to do really cool things. I got to see really cool places. You know, I was serving my country, which is something I'd always wanted to do since I was little, and so it's kind of like my dreams were crushed, but then I knew, okay, I'm getting the help I needed. So from February 27th until June, I think like the end of June 15th or something like that, I was getting treatment in Japan for depression and anxiety. And it wasn't until I think at the end of March when they were like asking me, you know, just like what's going on and stuff, and I was like, hey, I'm hearing like mumbling, I'm hearing voices in my head, and they're like, oh, what are they, you know, saying? And then I'd be like, sometimes they tell me to do stuff that's like wrong, to hurt myself and stuff, but I don't, like I can, you know, suppress it or whatever. And that's when they diagnosed me with acute schizophrenia, which has gotten a lot better. Sometimes I still hear voices and I'll just like zone out and I'll like kind of zombie mode-ish or whatever. But I don't feel not safe. Wait, what? But I feel safe where I'm at because I live with my fiance. He understands kind of like how to get me out of those like zone outs, those like panicky motions or whatever. So yeah, so that's when that happened. I've been diagnosed, I already said that. What was I gonna say? I'm having a brain fart. My brain is exploding in my skull. I'm a new song on iTunes. Just kidding. So yeah, and then in June I was sent to Seattle, and I stayed there for about 2 weeks, and that's when I was initially discharged and got out and went home. When I was in Seattle, my panic attacks were really bad just because I didn't really know anybody there. Like, there were other people there. There were also a lot of people there who were getting separated, so I mean, I met friends and stuff, and I wasn't completely by myself, but they weren't people that like knew me and knew what was going on with me or whatever. So I kind of had to try to keep it, I don't know, disclosed, and I had some really, really sketchy times when I was in Seattle just because like I'd have panic attacks, but I couldn't tell anybody I was having a panic attack, and I would just kind of have to deal with it myself, which I don't like doing. And then I went home, and I was home for about 30 days. I used to live in rural Oklahoma, like on the Red River, so the dividing between Oklahoma and Texas, and then I moved up here to Maryland. But I was home for about a month and just like spent time with my family and kind of like got myself together and tried to get my mind as stable as I could before I came to Maryland to live here almost on my own. But like I said, I live with my fiance, but he goes to work every day, and he's at work for ever. I'm just kidding. But I mean, I'm by myself almost all the time. And so I had to get my mind 100%, like, not even 100%, but I had to get my mind stable enough that I could take care of myself. Because I was at the point where I was very dependent on people. I was dependent on my best friends, Steven and Zach. They were my best friends in Japan. I still love them so much. I had a falling out with one of them for a little while. Well, technically we aren't friends right now, which sucks. But I am still friends with one of them, and I love him so much, and I'm so happy that he was there for me through that time that I was going through. And then when I got home, I was very reliant on my parents to take care of me and to make sure I was okay. And my mom would just stay home with me, like from work and stuff, and you know, make sure I was sound and whatever. And it was really nice. And my grandma was home every day too. So I guess now I kind of just want to talk about how I'm doing. I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better than I was, you know, almost, it'll be a year in February, so I mean, whatever. But I've been doing really well, I think. You know, I still go to the doctor, I still talk to a psychiatrist, I still take pills. I have down days when I just can't get out of bed, and I have panic attacks, and they're scary, and I, you know, still hear stuff sometimes, but the majority of the time I'm like, okay, like I'm pretty fine. If that makes sense. Like, I know I'll never be like 100% like sound or whatever. Like, I know I'm always gonna have these little issues, and I've come to the reality that it's totally fine, and that as long as I can like understand what's going on with me, and my loved ones around me understand what's going on with me, that I'm gonna have people here to support me through this. I'm never gonna be alone. I'm always going to have, you know, my people, my group that will take care of me and help sustain me as long as I need them to. So yeah, I will probably keep updating and make other videos about like mental illness, mental health and stuff. Maybe more tips. I'll do tips sometime or whatever. I don't know. I just wanted to come out here and tell you guys that there'll be days that I make videos and I have to fake myself to like laugh and to smile or whatever, and I just want you guys to understand kind of how my brain works. And you know, like I said, this is an adventure, this is a journey that we're doing together. But my next video is, I don't know what it's gonna be about, but I'm probably gonna film it today because why not? But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye. Who are awesome. I'm so stupid.